We're doing our In the Pocket segment, which gives us an opportunity to sort of mash up the perspectives that we have. So me coming from the tech and the business side, Charlie coming from the business and sports side, as well as he's sort of a gadget dude. And he's totally interested in so many different things that we really just wanted to mash things up. So we have someone here today that probably most people would say, what's Charlie doing interviewing this company? I'm a huge fan of this company. I've been following her since she started this. She doesn't even believe it, but I really have. And with us we have
Nicki Zevola of FutureDerm.
She is the founder and CEO?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, she's going to understate herself here, so I'm going to make sure that we get some powerful understanding of that. So FutureDerm, tell us a little bit about what you've been up to.
So I started FutureDerm whenever I was a medical student at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine. And at the time, I was really an avid beauty product user, but at the same time I was studying to be a dermatologist. And I realized just how much science there was behind beauty products. But not just pseudoscience that they talk about in the advertisements, but actual science and independent scientific studies. And I realized that the public would really like to learn about this. I mean, last year 64% of bachelor's degrees went to women. So clearly this is an educated population to which we are trying to market these products, but yet so many people don't know the science behind them. And so I decided to start a blog and talk about it.
64%?
Yes. So
wow.
So men still earn more doctorates than women do, and that's a disparity that is evening out over time. But by and large, women are earning more bachelor's degrees today. So
totally love it. What do you think?
I didn't know that. I learned something new today. So you're creating this whole pitch, and you say, you want to know what? Let me create a product, or let me create something that women are going to be able to really draw to.
Yes.
And you were able to do that. I mean, at what point did you think it was going to really be able to be successful for you?
So initially I only started FutureDerm as a blog, and I just thought it was going to be informational. But I had started other blogs in the past, and this one was getting 50 views from the first day. And I was like, well, you know, now it's getting 250,000 a month, and so it's doing a lot different now. But of course, this is several years later. But it was always my goal to become a dermatologist and then introduce a line of revolutionary skincare products to the market. However, after I started receiving 100,000, 200,000, 250,000 views on my blog, it started to occur to me, why not start now? Even though I'm only a third-year medical student, I had a lot of research experience. I had done 7 years of research experience. I've been through so many thousands of studies as a result of my studies and also the blog, and I thought, you know what, now's the time. So I entered the Randall Family Big Idea competition at Pitt. I won that, and then I was accepted into Alpha Lab. And
congratulations.
Thank you so much. And so it's been a wonderful, wonderful time.
And so what are you working on now? So give us sort of the current state and where you're headed, because I think that part's really interesting. And you are from Pittsburgh.
Yes,
right?
Yes. I was born. I was born in South Korea. I was adopted, and when I was 4 months old, I came to Pittsburgh and have been here ever since. So I was a full scholarship student at the University of Pittsburgh, accepted to the Medical School Guarantee Program. But basically, you know, with FutureDerm, in the past 6 months, we've managed to sell our first product, which is a time-release retinol, and we've managed to sell it to in 14 different countries, and it's been explosive growth. We just closed we're in the process of closing a Series A investment round, and then right now we're getting ready to launch our second product, which is a state-of-the-art vitamin C serum.
So the market, I mean, Charlie, I don't know if you know this, but the market in this space is somewhat crowded. I mean, if you think it's just somewhat crowded. I tried to, I told you a little bit about that before, just so we were preparing. But the market is somewhat crowded, yet you're differentiating yourself. How are you doing that?
We managed to differentiate ourselves because we start with something that Seth Godin refers to as niche marketing. For instance, in the 70s, 80s, whenever you started a business, it was all about mass commercialization, appealing to the people at large. But nowadays, the way that you make a successful business coming from the internet, at least in my opinion, is to do so starting with a niche. And our niche is educated women who want to know the science behind their beauty products. And we don't receive 250,000 views a month because women aren't interested in the science, because women aren't intelligent enough to get the science. And so we tap into this population, and then we market products that stick with our messaging. We always tell people, look for high concentrations of ingredients that are proven effective in independent scientific studies, to look for unique delivery systems, and to look for those formulations that really pack a punch, and we managed to actually produce those.
How long did it take for you to get challenged about the science? You're running a blog, and you don't know who you're talking to. So when somebody gives you a question and you respond back, it's like, okay, yeah, she knows what she's talking about.
So what we try to do in each one of our posts is to quote 5 independent scientific studies, at least, in each one of our posts on FutureDerm.com. And so as a result of doing that, that helped to substantiate us more. We still get challenged to this day. One of our posts that was most popular in the past year has actually been 3 reasons why apple cider vinegar doesn't work on your hair. And I had so many people who were just so angry about this. But at the same time, we were challenged a lot on that. But at the same time, we stick to our guns. We stick to what the science says.
Another thing, mascara.
Sure.
I use your site a lot. So I'll go on and I say, I need new mascara. I'm always, trying to figure out new mascara. I have a friend who, is, in that world, in the retail world, and always said, you should buy a low-end mascara. It's not worth spending all that much money on. So I went right to her site, and I just, did a search for mascara, and had a ton of information about the kind of mascara, what I was looking for, and the end game was the same result, but it sort of validated for me, because there's no other way I could have gotten that. If I would have just Googled in or done Bing, and I would have, done mascara qualities, it would have been whose ad rose to the top, who had one word about mascara in there. There was never anything sort of bucketed for me. Same thing with retinol. That I can't really do that kind of search. And I love Google and, all those search engines, but you can't really get anything substantive because it'll just pick up the word, or it'll pick up, even research. It won't aggregate it like your site does.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Well, one thing I think is, if you look at entrepreneurs and you look at coders, predominantly they're both male. And so it makes sense that male-dominated industries such as cars or such as computers, they have a Kelley Blue Book online. They have CNET for computers. They have the sites that the men can go to and differentiate between different types of products. But like you were saying, Audrey, if you're searching for a mascara or a retinol, it's very hard to find those sites that are created by women for women that differentiate between those different product features. And so that's exactly what we're trying to create on our site.
Well, now, what about the other 36%, the men? Now, how do you have, most men don't want to necessarily say they use makeup, but they do. Now, you could be anonymous, hopefully, on it, but do you get a lot of questions from the men?
We actually do. We get a surprising number of questions from men, and actually, as far as beauty blogs go, we get more traffic than almost any other beauty blog from men, as far as we can tell. In fact, 25 to 30% of our traffic is from the male population. There's a lot of we get a lot of traffic actually from people with masters and PhDs in areas other than science, so they can understand the scientific literature if they're presented with it, but at the same time, it's not something that they seek out themselves.
See, no, they would not do that. But you see a lot more men using that. It may be, because you see a lot more men on TV now than you see, there's a lot of powder that kind of comes along with it, making sure that your skin tone is the right match, so you're not too light or too dark, and that's a problem for a lot of people.
Absolutely. Actually, men's grooming products are one of the fastest growing sectors of the beauty market today. The research from Procter & Gamble showed that the sales are increasing 60 to 70% per year. It's not considered to be taboo to be a quote-unquote metrosexual for men anymore. Men have increasing interest in their appearance. The only differentiating factor, though, is that men still have a bit of taboo surrounding spending more for beauty products. Men will spend more for cologne, but they still won't spend the big bucks, $100 for 1 ounce or more whenever it comes to their skincare. And that's something that we'll probably see changed in the next 10 to 20 years.
That's, listen, skin tone. I'm impressed.
Yes.
That was, pretty terrific to go really hone in on that.
Because you see men who use it, but they don't want to be out in the public. Most women, they don't care to pop out the little, powder their face. You don't see men doing that. That's not a manly thing that people like to too.
see you at a stoplight. Doing
But the
that.
longer people are in television or something like that, they they don't have a problem. I know what, I'm on set, I have to do this, and it's just something that that men hide from that. I don't understand why, but they do. They just don't think that they don't want another man to think that they wear makeup.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how it is, just the fact that that's just a perception, and sometimes that is reality. Sometimes.
Actually, it's interesting in Asia, and China and South Korea specifically, the men actually do regularly wear makeup, and it's not considered as taboo there. But I'm wondering, with the evolution of high-definition television and things like that, if we'll see more and more spokespersons and athletes and the like coming out and,
So, listen, Nicki, we
Yes.
could spend all day with you. You've been doing amazing
I could spend
work.
all day with you, too.
We totally love you. If anyone wants to know about FutureDerm, where would they go?
FutureDerm.com, and then if you want to learn more about our products, you can go to shop.futurederm.com.
And if everyone just, follow this company and follow her. She's just taken her first round of funding. She is someone who actually has been in medical school and an honor student.
And she knows what she's talking about.
She knows what she's talking about.
Right off the cuff.
And we will be following you. So thank you for being on the show.
I'm Charlie Batch.
And this is Audrey Russo, and we will be back.